As you probably know, the new Smash game for the Nintendo Switch was recently announced. And even though I did a live reaction video for it, a lot of people thought I missed the point of it because I didn't oversell my reaction to satisfy the masses. Imagine doing that. But with this new era of Smash upon us, this means one thing and one thing only. Top 10 lists from every YouTuber on the site. Are they involved in Smash? Doesn't matter. This is what the people want to see, and I am no better than anyone else on this god-awful website. And I know people will disagree with my list, so if you do disagree, politely explain why in the comments. Or just let me know in the comments who you want to see in Smash Switch. Better yet, fight someone else and say, hey, Gino's not going to be in Smash Switch to the person who says Gino in the comments, because that's only going to happen about 100,000 times. But on my list, I'm only putting realistic choices. I don't think all of these characters are going to make it in, but I think all of these characters could have a chance to make it in. Number 10. Oh no. This is turning out to be like every other top 10 list. Ashley from the WarioWare series. So it's pretty easy to draw comparisons to other fan-made games like Smash Bros. Crusade, which featured Ashley from WarioWare. The thing about Ashley is that she could just be a cool mage character. And honestly, there aren't really any mages in the game. We only have these... Oh, no, not that one. Just this one. She would be a fire-based mage who attacks with long range and zoning tools. Which her normals would probably be close range. Maybe just some get-off-me tools like jabs and tilts and whatnot. I would probably expect up tilt to look like Ori in Rivals of Aether, down tilt like Palutena. But not only would Ashley be a cool character, she would bring some banger tracks. And that is what I'm all about. Number 9. Bandana Dee. You gotta love him. Look at him, he's so cute. This character used to be much higher on my list. And even though he's popular, I feel like his moveset would be just a bit uninspired. Yes, it would be cool to have a ranged character who's very small, because, you know, every ranged character is usually a humanoid type figure. But I feel like there's only so many things you can do with a spear. It's practically a sword character, and don't mind that a sword character is on the top of my list. But there are other Kirby reps I would like to see. But if you want to look at examples, Smash Flash 2 hit it on the head with Bandana Dee. They made him a Jigglypuff hybrid with ranged projectiles, and boy was it terrifying when I first played it. Bandana Dee can just huff and puff and jump all around and throw spears like it's nobody's business. I don't really think that they would use the same specials as he did in Smash Flash 2, but I think for every Kirby rep, if you want to see an accurate moveset to what they could have next, looking into Star Allies is probably your best bet, because HAL Laboratories kind of made a pretty well-defined moveset for all of the characters in that game. As far as inputs go, Kirby plays a lot like Smash, regardless if you want to admit that or not. My boy Relax made a whole video explaining this, so if you really want to see that philosophy more in depth, check that out. But Bandana Dee already has a moveset waiting for him, so the inspiration is already there, honestly. Number 8. As you know, whenever a new Pokemon generation comes out, we always think we're going to get a new Pokemon, except for this generation. That didn't happen. And this one, actually. But those days are gone. Pokemon Sun and Moon are already out, and I know the new Pokemon Switch could have something, but I'm banking on this for my theory, okay? Let me have this. Decidueye. So if you want to look at all the starters, yeah, I know I love Litten. He is the cutest little starter, but Decidueye is just sick as hell. He's a ghost grass Pokemon who can fly. Like, that's just badass. It just is. What makes it easy to find his moveset that he was recently added to Pokken Deluxe Tournament Editions Tournament? Pokemon Tekken. They could feature him as the only other character outside of Peach to have a unique float. They could make him a ranged character who mainly fights from the sky rather than the ground. Which, yes, in high-level competitive play, it does sound pretty toxic, but I'm just talking about the originality and creativity of it, man. But I think it's pretty guaranteed that they would feature his signature move, which is Spirit Shackle. Because I feel like this move is climactic enough to be saved for a final Smash, but I also think the move is just cool as hell on its own. Number 7. You know, I gotta do it to him. My boy, Toad. Look at this. This is a disgrace. Peach, I love you, but he deserves better than this. It's honestly kind of shocking to me that Toad has not been represented at all. The inspiration I would draw from Toad would be from Super Mario Bros. 2, and even though that game came out a long time ago, I think that's just the general source for his movement. In that game, the 4 characters are kind of balanced around each other and all having different stats, whereas Toad is very fast on the ground but cannot jump very high. And I think that would be a very interesting twist on such a peaceful character, to have him be a rushdown character similar to Falcon, because that would be hilarious. But he kind of has a bad recovery. You know, probably like a little weaker than Lil Mac, but a little look better in the air than Little Mac. And while you're at it, you could probably give Toad turnips too. I don't think that's too unfitting. Because I mean, Peach pulls turnips in that game too, and that's kind of the first one Toad was really featured in, so I think Toad also pulling turnips is not really a bad overlap between the two characters. I think it's a much better solution than having Captain Toad who just can't jump at all. For specials, down B, as I said, would be turnips, and neutral B, it could just be a counter, but instead he puts out Peach. The thing about Toad is that he doesn't have to have source material to have a complete moveset. There are characters like Luigi, who is a prime Nintendo character, and almost none of his moves come from Luigi. And even with Mario F Smash, it took me a long time to say, hey, that's from Superstar Saga. And then I looked up when that game came out, and looked up when Melee came out, and no, it's not. I don't even know where they pull half the movesets from. Sometimes they just make it up. And the thing is, that's perfectly fine. I just think Toad is a big enough Nintendo character to where he should be the next Mario character included. Yes, over Waluigi, I think Toad has more spunk, more personality, and he's also just not Waluigi. Number 6. It's really hard to decipher where it came from in this game, but Melee was Ice Climbers. In Brawl, they had Pit. And I mean, I guess you could argue that this one was for Kid Icarus Uprising, but anyways, Pit did not have a game before this in a very long time. And then Smash 4, you had Duck Hunt, or Duck Hunt Duo as it is in some countries. But there is one retro character who I think stands out among the crowd, and that is Loon Fighter. And hear me out, this is a bold pick. And it sounds so outlandish because Villager Uppy is also called Balloon Fight. Or Balloon Fight, I don't know. What separates him from the crowd to me is that this would be a beautiful tribute to Satoru Iwata. When the Nintendo Entertainment System came around, he worked on a handful of games, ranging from the Kirby series to Earthbound to the NES Open Tournament Golf, and even Balloon Fight. Which of all the old games that have aged poorly, I gotta say, Balloon Fight is not one of those. I played the game recently and the controls are tight. The game is so fun. And I think it's honestly probably one of my favorite games on the NES. It's so simple, so easy to pick up, but so hard to master. It's beautiful. And look, hear me out. Usually in these lists, you come with a moveset prepared so you can propose it, but Nintendo, I'm leaving the creative business to you. As I've said with some of my other characters, I think you would just be very good in the air and then slow on the ground. I think it'd be interesting to implement a character that does not have an up B in terms of recovery, like maybe Yoshi or Jigglypuff, but instead he just has a lot of jumps, you could say, but he can just keep gliding or floating until his balloons just give out. The recent Rivals of Ether character Eliana has an interesting mechanic, which is kind of just Rumble from League of Legends. But Eliana does not have a double jump at all. Instead, she has an overheat bar and a hover mechanic. So she can keep hovering as long as her machine does not overheat. And as soon as it does overheat, she has to eject and then get a new mech before she can start hovering again, or just let the overheat die down organically over time. I think that would be unique to Smash Bros. And also just very interesting for a character and a beautiful tribute to a man who had so much influence on not just Smash Bros, but Nintendo as a whole. Number 5. Oh, I told myself I wasn't going to put indie characters on my list, but I gotta do it. Shantae, come home. There are so many things you can take from the game and say, you know what, make that a special. Sure, why not? She would have a large-ass arsenal. Large arse, you know? Which, for the recent Smash Bros. Girls, kind of a fitting theme. Her most notable attack is her little hair whip, and she can also do it while she's crouching. Now trust me, you might not have wanted her before, but this girl is almost just a Nintendo character. Her games spawned from so long ago, and her most recent titles are already on the Switch for download. So if you want to get in and try these games, feel free to do so. And yes, there are older titles, but you don't necessarily have to play the old ones to hop into the new ones, or you don't even have to play the previous one to understand this one. Just pick a game, play it, have fun. Way4 did incredible with this game, and I hope they do incredible with Shantae in Smash. Number 4. Bandana Dee, I'm sorry, this used to be where you were, but Star Allies gave me hope for my boy, Marks. We need more villains in Smash. Everyone's been saying that. We don't have Wolf anymore. People still want K-Rool, but that's not going to happen. But Marks from Kirby is honestly a possibility. The same reason I say Geno's not going to be in the game is because he was in one game so long ago. But at the same time, he did get a Mii costume, which was more than I ever thought he was going to get, so perhaps that could happen. Who knows? Probably not. But Marks from Kirby is a bad boy from Kirby Superstar, a game on the Super Nintendo. And yes, that is a very long time ago, but Star Allies came out and they gave him his own moveset, which as previously stated, Kirby and the Smash Bros. Series, in terms of movement and movesets, are very similar. It's like there's some weird missing link between them. I just can't figure it out. But Marks' moveset is already made. It honestly is. Just look at this and look what he can do. He brings a unique moveset that has just not been explored at all. So yeah, if you're looking for a flying, laser beaming, black holing, ball shooting, cute little bad boy, Marks is your dude. And I just hope they put this face specifically in Smash Bros. Number 3. Okay, so I recorded the audio for this list about a week ago, and after the other day, I had to make some changes to it. Because this list was supposed to be characters that I think could make it in realistically. And at the time of initially recording this, Sora wasn't on my list, because I didn't think that was realistic. But I have been an avid Kingdom Hearts fan ever since I was a little kid. So getting Sora in Smash has always kind of been something I wanted, but I never really thought it was possible. Then Cloud Strife getting in gave me just a slimmer of hope. And then Smash Switch coming out the same year as Kingdom Hearts 3 gave me a little bit hope, but not enough. And then recently they put out a new trailer for Kingdom Hearts featuring a Game & Watch type minigame. And I don't want to look too far deep into this, but I feel like if they're doing something like this, Kingdom Hearts 3 has to come to Nintendo Switch. They already announced a long time ago that it was going to be for PS4 and Xbox One, which was still strange at the time, but now I feel like it seems they're pushing towards a Nintendo Switch, and if it's coming to Nintendo Switch, it could come to Smash, and oh my god, could you imagine that happened? Sora's moveset ultimately revolves around how much Disney lets them get away with. Because an obvious final smash would be a Trinity attack, but I don't know if that would happen. If not, it would probably be a form from Kingdom Hearts 2, which would probably be like Valor, Wisdom, Master, one of those. But Sora would be kind of a sword-based character who would primarily use agile attacks. Does that make sense? In the Kingdom Hearts game, Sora is a very quick and nimble character, throughout several games having QTEs to react to the enemy. So it could be interesting to include Sora into Smash and be a character like Sheik, who's very quick and frame safe with a lot of her moves, but struggles in killing in the final blow. Because the thing about sword characters is, they kinda just kill you. So it'd be really interesting to see a character like that who would also have some spells on his hand. So even though all of his normals could just be sword or keyblade based attacks, you could make all of his specials vary between maybe like special keyblade moves or realistically maybe spells. To be fair, those could be reserved for Smash attacks, so who really knows, but I think Sora is someone everybody wants, and I have finally decided that I think it's realistic. I've been going back and forth for about 8 years now, but I think this is the best chance Sora has ever had to be in Smash Brothers. Number 2. So I started playing Xenoblade 2 right when the game came out, on the day of. And I just got to some part of the game, and I just didn't really get to finish it. I got busy, things came up, a lot of things happened, and I just didn't finish the game. But the other day, I wanted to take a break from social media, so I got off Twitter for a bit and started playing Xenoblade 2, and sure enough, I didn't really do much else for 3 whole days. Xenoblade 2 has a very immersive story. I fell in love with it. Everything about it was great, except the Steel of Judgment, which that could be a final smash, and it could make the other person stop playing the game because they hate it. But let's talk about characters. I haven't said which character I want yet, and that is because I don't really know. And in case you plan on playing Xenoblade 2, or Xenoblade 2, I'm gonna say Xenoblade. I'm an ignorant American, I'm gonna say my language. There are 10 chapters in Xenoblade, and I won't spoil anything past about chapter 4 to 5. That's about where my limit is. So Xenoblade 1 featured an ensemble of characters, but the thing is, Xenoblade 2 features a very similar size of characters, and if I had to pick one, I don't really want Rex in the game. I would love to have Pyra or Mithra in the game, but it just seems so difficult to make that happen. Because Rex is the main character of the game, and a character in Smash has never solo represented their series without being the main character. I also don't really want to have something where it's like you have to keep them close like Ice Climbers and there's an infinity bar between them. I don't like that either. What makes this character hard to be included in Smash is because one cannot exist without the other. Rex will not have powers without Pyra, and Pyra would not be an active blade without Rex, more or less. So I think the best you could do is really have it to where you play as Pyra or Mithra. You can have Pyra on the sidelines and have Rex on the battlefield. Just imagine like Pokemon Trainer in Brawl in the background, and you fight as Rex with her powers. And then you can make a different moveset for Mithra, and you could swap between them via down B or something like that. Because I know Sakurai said he doesn't like Samus and then Zero Suit Samus, or Zelda and then Sheik, but this would be a pretty appropriate way to swap between the two.
to. You aren't really changing the character, but just the movesets at hand with the same character. It's confusing. If you play Xenoblade, you know what I'm talking about, but you can alternate movesets between these two characters at will. Pyra fights with fire-based moves, and Mythra fights with holy-based moves, or light-based. And then there's something else we could talk about, but I don't want to spoil any parts of the game. But please, Nintendo, if you do anything, you put Shulk in the game. But now Xenoblade is more popular than ever, so please, throw me a bone and pick a name.
Number 1. Oh no, if you follow me on Twitter, or if you know me at all, you know my number 1 on this list. Drum roll, please. Lindis, girl, come home. Lyn is my favorite Fire Emblem character, and honestly, just one of my favorite characters in video games. And I can already hear you mashing on your mechanical keyboard telling me, Alpharad, we don't need more Fire Emblem characters in Smash Bros. And you know what? I agree with you. I think a lot of the Fire Emblem characters in Smash Bros have pretty uninspired movesets. Which I think Marth is always going to be in Smash Bros. He is a staple of the series as the sword character, which in every other Platform Fighters video game, people always say, huh, that's just a Marth clone. It's easy to say Marth and Ike are also popular because of Smash Bros, but I think Roy is the epitome of that. Roy is a liability in his game, to put it nicely, but people just love him for Smash Bros. The first video game Roy was ever in was Melee. Yeah, that came out before his own game did. I'm very dedicated to Lyn. Hear me out. If she makes it into the game, I will main her. 100%, no matter how good or bad she is, Lyn will be my girl. I think a pretty big reason why I think Lyn is so possible is because Fire Emblem Heroes always does polls to see who is the most popular character, and in the first one where all characters were welcome, Lyn just kind of killed it. Back in the day when I complained about all the Fire Emblem characters in Smash, someone told me, Zelda has a lot of items. It's a very item-based game. So that makes sense why we have a lot of items in the game. Fire Emblem is a game about characters. So it makes sense why we have a lot of characters in the game. Which, even though Smash went a little overboard in the last iteration with Fire Emblem characters, I think they're right. I think they're onto something. But the solution here is to have Marth and Ike and then rotate between two characters in every Smash Bros. And I just really want to stress that I don't want to add Lyn to the game if we're already keeping all 6 Fire Emblem characters. I only want to add her if there's room for her, because I don't think Fire Emblem should be that saturated in Smash Bros. So with that being said, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for not typing angry comments when I had a Fire Emblem character at the top of my list. Since this was more of a personal list for me and just to talk about the characters I personally want in the game, I have a few other videos that I want to do in the future. Because I want to try and take an educated guess, not by what I want, but what I think Nintendo wants for a character. So you can expect in a few weeks the top 10 characters I expect Nintendo to put in the new Smash Bros. So be looking forward to that, and I will be looking forward to your list in the comments section. So give me your top 10, give me your top 5, hell, give me your top 1,000 characters you want in the game, and then I'd be impressed. But with that being said,